Let's get started. Now, in our first story, government is promising an upward review of remuneration for pharmacy house officers. Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah says they should be receiving substantial compensation above the normal national service allowance. Now, Mr. Osei Mensah was speaking at the third white coat ceremony at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology at the Faculty of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences.
It comes on the back of calls to increase low compensation for house officers despite extra work.
So that while you are doing your intention, you are remunerated like those doing their national services. I think this anomaly must be addressed and addressed within the shortest possible time.
The white coat ceremony is symbolic. On the occasion, students adorned with white coats are officially initiated into clinical training. The third batch of students was ushered into their clinical year since the inception of the 6-year Doctor of Pharmacy program in the 2012-2013 academic year. It replaces the traditional Bachelor of Pharmacy program previously offered by the faculty. Pro-Vice Chancellor Reverend Professor Charles Ansa urged the faculty to strengthen its pharmaceutical manufacturing training and entrepreneurial skills.
That we strengthen our training in pharmaceutical manufacturing in view of the limited job vacancies in the public sector. We also have to sharpen the entrepreneurial skills of our students to prepare them adequately for the pharmaceutical industry. In this direction, ladies and gentlemen, we shall continue to intercalate classroom teaching with practice in hospitals, community pharmacies, and industrial practice in the 5th year, and crown the competencies and practice of the students with off-campus rotations in the 6th year.
Raouf Audu is Registrar of the Pharmaceutical Council. He recounts conscious efforts by pioneers in the profession have globally made to review the role of pharmacists and make their work more patient-oriented.
Where international conventions and protocols such as the World Health Organization, International Pharmaceutical Federation, Commonwealth Pharmacists Association, and West African Health Organization, WAHO, and their attendant laws and regulations requires that the education and training curriculum of pharmacists takes into consideration population and community needs, and that the pharmacist be knowledgeable, skillful, of the correct attitude, and to be competent at all times.
Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Debra.
The newly inducted president of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, the Reverend Professor Paul Frimpong-Manso, has stated that the council will not be a surrogate of any political party except for supporting government to ensure national development. According to him, religious leaders are often wrongly tagged for their criticisms or commendation of political parties on national issues. Well, that notwithstanding, the Reverend Professor Frimpong-Manso says the council will continue to critique decisions in the interest of national development. He made this known during his induction service and an appreciation service held in his honor by his predecessor, Apostle Opoku Onyina.
After 8 years of service as president of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, Apostle Professor Opoku Onyina finally handed over the mantle to his successor in a ceremony attended by most of the country's renowned religious leaders of the Charismatic and Pentecostal faith, their families, friends, and well-wishers. The newly inducted president of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, Reverend Professor Paul Frimpong-Manso, said the council will not be any political party surrogates. Rather, it will critique every decision taken in order to safeguard the interests of the citizenry.
Be a surrogate to any political system that will dilute the impact of GPCC for us to achieve our purpose. We will criticize constructively and commend where necessary. When the government is doing the wrong thing and we criticize it, another people from the other side say that we are connected to another party. When the minority do the right thing, you commend them, you belong to them. When they do the right thing and you criticize them, you belong to the government.
Speaking on behalf of President Akufo-Addo, the Energy Minister John Peter Amewu congratulated Reverend Professor Paul Frimpong-Manso for his new appointment.
That the good Lord shall shower the blessings and give him faith for the good work that is ahead, the good work that is intended to do for the purpose of growth of democracy in the church in the government. It is clear and very enviable that the current population of this fraternity, almost about 2.45 million thereabouts, cannot be a population that will be left in isolation. As government, we recognize the contributions over the past decade, and we are ready, prepared to continue to work with you.
The immediate past president of the council, Reverend Opoku Enyina, thanked all who made his tenure a success after being presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award.
I'm very, very surprised of what the National Executive Council members have done, and I do really appreciate it. I did not know that I was making such an impact on people's life, and I pray that the Lord will continue to lead these people in whatever you are doing. In Jesus' mighty name.
Among the dignitaries who graced the occasion were founder of the Action Chapel International, Archbishop Duncan Williams, General Overseer of the Royal House Chapel, Reverend Sam Kranchi Ankra, Pastor Ajinasari of the Perez Chapel, and a host of others in the charismatic and Pentecostal faith.
Now, residents of Adaklu, Hasu, are appealing to government to absorb the Adaklu Senior High Technical School established by the community to save it from being closed down. According to the residents, government's refusal to absorb the school would lead to a closure and affect technical education in the area. They therefore appeal for government to immediately intervene.
The Adaklu Senior High Technical School was established in 2008 in Adaklu Hasu by the residents, with the community solely financing and managing the school. The school offers general arts, agriculture, business, and technical courses. The current student population is over 150. According to residents, the establishment of the school with support from the district assembly brought great relief to parents in about 13 communities in the catchment area. The district assembly also sponsored construction of an additional classroom unit, which is yet to be completed to augment the existing structures. Nonetheless, headmaster of the school, Justice Dugbe, said the school is almost collapsing because contributions from the residents are woefully inadequate to meet daily operation of the school. He explains moves to get the school absorbed into the public sector to save it from collapse have proved futile.
One Mr. Nku, the former director for secondary education, gave me a letter in respect to this absorption issue, that they have commended both reports from the region and the national inspectorate, and they commended the work done. But because of embargo on employment, the school cannot be absorbed for now, where they will post teaching and non-teaching staff to the school. And Director General will give us the approval as soon as the menace has been resolved. The embargo is lifted. As we are now, are they not recruiting teachers? Then what prevents government from absorbing the school?
A youth leader in Adaklu Hasu, Manfred Clark Jakuma, believes the establishment of Adaklu Community Day Senior High School could also be blamed for government's lackadaisical attitude towards absorbing Adastec into the public sector.
I must put on record that the establishment of the Community Day Senior High School at Abwadi was against the advice and recommendation of most opinion leaders in the traditional area. That it should be cited at where the Adaklu Senior High Technical School is located, or at Adaklu Ahunda, which are strategic locations. Due to these developments, the progress of Adaklu Senior High Technical School has been greatly affected in terms of infrastructure and enrollment. I am sorry to announce that the school is at the verge of collapse because it has still not been absorbed. by the government into the mainstream second cycle institutions. The chiefs and people of Hasu communities can no longer afford to finance the administration of the school from their meager contributions after 10 years of providing support.
Fred Kwame Asaris reports for Joy News.
Well, let's turn our attention to some sanitation stories. And pupils of Kokomlemle 1 and 2 basic schools, they've resorted to open defecation right by a newly built toilet facility just for the school. Emmanuel Jivenu visited the school and now reports that the facility, according to sources, was built by an NGO and is yet to be commissioned.
This is a normal day at the Kokomlemle 1 and 2 primary school. Pupils ease themselves freely in open drains in the school. The gutter now serves as a place of convenience to hundreds of school children here.
Where are you going? Where? The gutter. Oh, okay.
What is puzzling is the fact that the school has a newly constructed toilet facility which remains locked. We found out that though the facility was completed 4 months ago, the children have not been allowed to access it. They obviously are not happy about the situation.
Some of our colleagues sit in the gutter because this place has been blocked. We are sit on the roadside and pay 50 pesos. I'm not happy that they have done this thing.
Some pupils who are shy to defecate in the open walk long distances to a public toilet and pay 50 pesos to use it. Their teachers, on the other hand, have a fairly decent washroom with running water. The children are exposed to serious health risk because of such insanitary practice. According to the 2017 Education Management Information System report by the Ghana Education Service, over 2 million Ghanaian children in basic schools openly defecate within their immediate school surroundings. Emmanuel Jivenu's report for Joy News.
And before we go, in March this year, Jojo Kobna filed a report on tourists complaining about open defecation just outside the walls of the Cape Coast Castle. Of course, residents there complaining as well. Now, some of the tourists, clearly let down by the act, had vowed never to return. Now, following the Joy News report, it appears the residents have mended their old ways, and they say fear of arrest and embarrassment forced them to reconsider their bad behavior. Jojo Kobna returned to the area and has come through with this report.
For years, squatting and defecating behind the Cape Coast Castle was a normal thing to do. Our cameras could not deter coastal dwellers from engaging in this despicable habit. When Joy News lashed hard at coastal dwellers for desecrating a historical monument, the Ministry of Tourism came out with a game plan.
We will also task GMMB to build a fence on the rocks behind the castle, so it will be a no buffer zone, so no one will be able to enter. It will be a security zone, because if you have a guest, and if you look at the video, it's so embarrassing. You have a guest overlooking the cannons, being told about the history and the atrocities that occurred at Cape Coast Castle, and what you see is a young Ghanaian man doing the unthinkable right below the castle on the rocks. It is not acceptable.
Behind the castle has not been fenced, but security men in plain clothes were placed there to parade the beach and arrest unrepentant deviants. That trick has yielded some positive response. The acting castle manager, Kingsley Okpoi, is a happy man.
We appreciate the effort of Joy News from coming up with that piece. It is true that some people looked at it and then appreciated it. Some other people look at it and then they were not too happy with it, because it casts a slur on the image of the institution, the town and the country at large. A bad image. Yeah. So, however, the good news, like I said, that out of this, a lot has happened, and one positive is that it has changed. The people have heeded the call.
It's a delight watching tourists enjoy a stunning, striking view. They take pictures, but this time around, they have no one squatting in their picture. The balcony smells fresher. Fishermen behind the castle are also excited.
These days, residents have stopped defecating here. Anyone who comes here to defecate will be arrested. We will arrest them. Now our fishing nets are clean. There are no feces in our nets. Tourists take photos of us to show the whole world that we are crude. Government sent a strong message that we will be arrested, so residents have changed. They now use public toilets.
An end to open defecation here for at least 2 months is the new normal. Perhaps residents of Choko, Teshi, Shama, Jamestown and Axim should challenge themselves and stop the shameful practice. Georgia Kobna, Joy News.
We told you about that fly in the sky with a great experience this morning, and a Ketsi cowbell. The hot air balloon has taken off from Afienya in the Greater Accra region with a number of our comrades, so to speak. The host of Adum FM's Ofie Kwanso, Jerry Justice, and comedian Funny Face, they all included in that whole basket. But also there is our own Komla Adum. He's joining us live with the latest. Good morning to you, Komla. Komla, good morning. Good morning, Komla. Well, we'll get him back on stream, but please again know that it's already taken off, so we'll bring you the latest as far as that is related. But we have to do an interaction as we look at the stories published on the front and back pages of the newspapers, and then also we'll take a look at the various online portals, particularly ours, and myjoyonline.com. But Komla is ready with the latest. Good morning to you, Komla.